Right, while I'm waiting for the Falcon to dry, I've done the bottom with the Insignia White. I'm just waiting for the top to dry. I've now done a bit of work on the rear engine plate, so I've sprayed that in the Insignia White. I've still got to do the underneath. I'm putting my decals on, so there's 4 decals. So you got one there, one there, one there, and one there. Microset, microsole sealed with a clear gloss, and I'm now going to put those 13 little winglet parts on that look like a dragster wing, and I'm also about to put the grills in and the other little tiny pieces, as it says there. So you got that one, those 2 pieces, the 13 of those, and those 2 pieces there, and the grills obviously, and then that will be finished. So let's see what happens. Right, welcome back. I could say that the rear engine plate's done, all finished. So when I'd left you on the previous update, I'd painted everything and put the 4 decals down, microset, microsole and seal. Once that was done, then I put the 13 T-bar pieces on, which look like the rear wing of a dragster. So that's all those. Then once those were down, I just clipped them into place, because when you get them in there, you've got to like push them down there, so they like go around just the top of that little lip there. So just push them into place. I'll just put a drop of glue on, some glue and glaze. Once that was done, I've got these Y T-shaped pieces. So I had to widen the hole slightly there. And that's all they're connecting to. There's no other holes. You just whack it in there. Put a drop of glue. I put a drop of glue and glaze in there, and then I put one on the prong there and on the prong there, where it goes slightly underneath the T shape. And that's pretty much it. I put a drop of glue there. That one's come loose slightly, but that's okay because it's pretty stiff. You've got the other TY shaped bar here. Same again. Widen the hole. Put that in. Glue there, glue there, glue there. Drop of glue there and there. And once that was finished, I then add 3 more pieces to put on. You got like this like V-shape triangle piece that had to go on top of this T-bar. So you put that on, and then you got these 2 tiny little pieces, which is that one and that one. Them just pushed into place, and I just put a drop of glue on there just to keep them on. Once that was done, I then went with the engine grille covers with the photo-etch. Now you can use the kit parts, or you can use the photo-etch, and I used the photo-etch. So going on to the plans, there's your kit parts, which are just 6 pieces of circular plastic. Then you've got the backing piece, which is T1, and then you put those into place from the inside. Or on here you can use the photo-etch. Actually, those glue on top. No, I didn't know that. Those slip on top, and then you put them in from the underneath, as it says there. Right, with the photo-etch, you just once you've painted it, you just drop them inside, just put a bit of super glue, and then you put the T1 on top of that too. It looks like they actually hold it in, but trust me, it doesn't. So those just slip into 2 holes there, and then you've got some subsidiary holes and tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you push that on. But what you've got to do, you've got to be careful of this. Right, so turning this over, there it is. So you got 1, 2 with your big ones, and you got 2 little ones there, and then I think there's 3 little ones located underneath here. Very easy to slip on and push down, but it doesn't hold the photo etching. because when you push that down, you've got to manoeuvre your thumbs. Actually, I shouldn't have turned that over. When you push that down, you've got to manoeuvre your thumbs there and there, but then you've got to push in the middle as well. But watch your fingers, because if you don't watch where your fingers are going, you will push these out and they will go down. Because even though I glued them all the way around, each one, they will pop out and they'll go down in there. And then you've got to take that black fascia piece off and put them back in, and I've done that about 3 times. Right, so putting those in. Now what I did is I pre-painted these before I put them in. I didn't use the spray. What I bought some Tamiya LP-35 Insignia White, which is basically the war paint of the AS-20 Insignia White, and I'll explain why I bought that later. But what I did is I just primed those on its little like photo-etch sprue with a grey primer, and then I painted that on. It took about 3 or 4 coats to get it right, but those are looking really nice now, and you can just about make out the black part from the underneath, because there's like some raised parts on the black part, so it looks like it's whirling round. And I don't know if the camera's picking up, but if you look at it, there you go, you can see one there. Look, you can see it's like a fan, and you can see all that detail just behind the photo etch if you angle the light right. So there you go, you can see that underneath. So that being said, it's all done finally. 100 pieces. It's been a right pain in the arse. I'm just so glad it's finished. Right, welcome back. The Falcon's all spray painted. So when I'd left you, the Falcon was on its bottom. Well, it was on its back, and I'd sprayed the underneath, the bottom, with the Insignia White, the AS-20. So if I just put that there a minute, turn this over. So there it is, all painted. The spray went down really well inside the porch, to be honest. No wind at all, obviously, because I didn't do it outside. I've put the feet back on. There's the plates for the feet for flight mode, but yeah, it's gone down really well. In the recessed areas, some of the paint went in, but not fully. I'll explain that in a minute. Then you've got the recessed areas on the mandibles. Again, some of the paint got in there, but it didn't 100% go in, so I had to top it up, and I'll explain that in a moment. But the bottom, like I said, it's gone down really well. I've took all the masks off on the gunner area, so that's that. Putting that back down again, turning the Falcon over. Then I started spraying the top. So it got inside the mandibles as well, which I was quite surprised with, but I did waste a lot of paint trying to get in there. So I stood it on its back and just sprayed it down. So again, didn't fully 100% go in the recessed areas. I'll explain that in a moment. So I've took the front canopy off where I've masked it off. I've took the blue tack out of there. I've took the mask off there. Took the blue tack out of the photo etched areas. And I've took the back plate off where I blue tacked it on with the cardboard. But again, it went down really, really well. I've done this side of the mandible there. I've done a little bit of the side there, but my paint ran out. I bought 2 cans. Admittedly, I did use a bit on pre-construction, especially on the bridge, on that part. And there was a couple of other parts I had to spray as well. I had to spray that photo-etch there, I had to mask that off, and a few bits and bobs here and there. And I actually wasted some on the photo-etch, and I had to scrub it all off because in between the little lines it actually glooped up, and I had to jab it all out with my knife because it filled it in, to be honest, in between the lines. And then by the time I'd done all that, half the paint had come off, so I had to re-sand it and paint it by hand. So I will admit, the first can, because I'm only tiny cans, the first can was only probably about half full. So I used that one, the half full one on the bottom, and a little bit of this. I then sprayed the top. I did admit waste a lot of paint getting inside the mandibles, but it went down really well. I sprayed there. I sprayed a little bit on this side, and then I started round here for the sides, and that's where the paint ran out there. So that's why I bought the LP-35, because I picked these two cans up from my local model shop in Birmingham. I live in Bilston, which is about 10-12 miles away, and these were £6.99 a can. On eBay, they were £6.99 a can, and then they wanted £5.99 postage, and some of them were going up to 20 quid a can. And I thought, you know what? I tried getting some spray in there. Only a little bit went in. Turning this round, just putting that on there. Trying to spray that. The paint hardly went in at all on the side pod. Painting that side pod, I couldn't get inside here. I couldn't get inside here with the spray, so that's why I done some research, and here's like the war paint version in the glass pot, and it's LP-35 Insignia White, brushing on that by hand, and that only cost £2.95 with no postage, off Jadlam Models off eBay. And here's what's left of my brush. That was a flat brush. So getting the LP-35, just putting that in by hand. It ain't perfect, but to be honest, I can class that as weathering. I had to do a little bit on there as well, just to top a few bits up on the side of the mandible. So putting that back down again. So on the side of the mandible, where the paint didn't go in hardly, I just went all the way up there with my brush and jabbing it, and, you know, getting the detail all there as well, and all inside there. Let me just put that back down again, turn that round a bit better. And inside there as well. It ain't perfect, and it ain't as, like, you know, neat as that, but I like it. It's all right, you know. Can be classed as weathering, to be honest. Also, remember when I said on the recessed areas, again, some of the paint got in, but again, using the LP-35 in my brush, I just got in there and topped it up on all the recessed areas, and on the bottom as well, and these big recessed areas by hand. And like I said, that's what's left in my brush. Right, so with that being said, that's all that done. The only painting I've got to do now is on my radar dish, so I'm going to primer that in the grey and then paint that by hand. It ain't going to be as smooth as that though, but there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to spend another, what, £12 to £15 on another can of that to finish that off. So, but there it is, it's all painted. I'm sorry about the rambling, I really am.